say it. Somebody should. Let's talk about two time. Let's talk about bum wine, yeah. You're asking the questions that nobody could. Like where the bone thugs and are they in harmony? Help for Snowman.
All right, everybody, welcome. Well, when we last spoke, actually not last, but prior to last, we were going through the Grinch 2 script by Uncle Bob that someone put on Reddit. And I was trying to resist the urge to constantly say, oh, this is clearly real or fake. And the only way to really figure this out is to go through the entire thing. So when we last left you, I believe the Grinch was going to try and get a job by turning the mountain into like a theme park or something. And the Grinch said, I've got to write down some of these ideas and I'll make some sketches to show the mayor. And I've got to, and then like a million ellipses. So let's get right back into this. The Grinch 2 by Uncle Bob, Part 2 by me. Camera fades away and then fades back into variety of scenes in fast motion with Grinch with a pencil in each side of his head, a pencil sideways in his mouth, and of him drawing, making lines with a ruler, drawing with a protractor and a compass ruler. Papers flying all over the place, Grinch tearing up plans, loud mumbling of fuck. Well, he just has, hash symbol, at symbol, percent, X, that kind of thing. But let's just say, I guess the Grinch is going to be mumbling fuck in this version. The Grinch stands up from his drawing table and holds up one of his large blueprints. You can barely see the drawings because camera is showing from the backside of the paper, looking towards the Grinch's face as he says, "We will name it Mount Crumpit Park." Crumpit. So not like the English muffin. Okay, one time I had a crumpet and I was like, this is a fucking English muffin. And then first I was mad because I was like, this isn't a crumpet, this is an English muffin. And then I was mad the other direction because I was like, wait a minute, company that makes English muffins, why don't you call them crumpets? You don't think I could handle that? And it's like, well, you're not hiding the fact that they're English. You literally are calling them English. So what the fuck? What's going on here? Oh, this is like what a muffin is like in English. Oh, okay. In English, in England. Camera fades away and fades into a scene at town hall. So we're going to use some fades, huh? Martha and Grinch go to town hall with their ideas and their sketches. I think Martha is his wife, girlfriend, whatever. With their sketches and blueprints. They see Mayor Mayhew and sit with their plans. Grinch sets up a tripod and pulls down the large sketch of the entire park complex. He opens up a telescoping pointer and begins to explain to the mayor. I've always wanted to have a telescoping pointer. Like I always just feel, I've just never had any reason to. But I always feel like if I did have one, you know what I mean? It would be a very effective thing. What is it about the laser pointer? Like that has the laser pointer is kind of like the ultimate version of like the future's not as cool as we all thought it was going to be. Cause like I thought I would never see someone gesture, with their crude flesh hands again once the laser pointer was invented. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I ever wrong. While pointing to each section as he is explaining, the Grinch says, at the bottom of the mountain, we'll have the gate entrance to the park. This seems like unimportant detail to add, but okay. There'll be 2 food stands, one around here and the other will be on top of the mountain. We can have one of those big round turning things here. Martha jumps in. Ferris wheel. Grinch. Over here. If I was writing this movie, I would have them have a brief argument between Ferris wheel and carousel. Which one's which? Because I feel like that's something I always confuse. Or like when I'm looking at a carousel, I'm like, I know that's not called a Ferris wheel, but what the fuck is that called? Over here, the guests can hop on a gondola for the ride to the top, or during the ski season, the skiers can take a ride on the ski lift. The skiers will ski down the slope, which ends here, and they get back on the ski lift here. While motioning with his pointer, also somewhere around here, we'll have a large hot air balloon, which can take up to 6 passengers up and down the mountain. Again, okay, it started practical. You've got the gondola for the ride. That makes sense. But then ski lift and then hot air balloon can take up to 6 passengers up and down the mountain, again, while pointing with his pointer. The kiddos, maybe their parents if they dare, can slide down the old trash chute, which we'll clean up and paint it to look like a big candy cane. I will move the end of the trash chute so it doesn't go all the way into town. They will enter here at the top and exit down here at the bottom, hop on a gondola and do it all over again. A slide that is the length of like a ski hill sounds nightmarish to me. You know what I mean? Being in a slide for upwards of like several minutes, just for some reason that absolutely is like induces a complete panic in me. We'll have food and drink stands here at the top in front. It keeps saying while pointing. I got it. He's continually pointing at stuff. In front of the existing cave entrance. I will block off the cave entrance so no one can enter for now. I think if all goes well, I'll eventually come up with an idea for the cave, maybe lodging or something, one phase at a time. I think if everything works out, I'll probably come up with something, right? That seems like a thing I would do, is coming up with a thing. Martha gets up and claps with excitement and says to the mayor, Augustus, what do you think? Mayor, I can benefit from the tax revenue. Mayor clears his throat. I mean, the village can benefit from the tax revenue, and it's a great way to rid of that stinky trash chute. I hate to say it, but it's a fantastic idea. I wish I'd thought of it. We can name it Mayor Mayhew Park. I like that he's just like, I hate to say it, but it's a fantastic idea. I'm mad that you came up with a good idea. You know what? I like that this mayor is at least honest. He's an honest politician who's like, I fucking hate you, Grinch, but damn it, I can't turn down a good idea when I see one. Martha shaking her head. Oh no, we are going to name it Mount Crumpet Park. We want to preserve the history of Mount Crumpet while making it a fun place for everyone. Mayor, while rubbing his cheeks. Okay, I like it. I'll help you. Will help you get all the permits you need. The mayor and Grinch shake hands. Mayor turns and hugs Martha. He's still not letting go for a few moments. Ugh. Martha looks over at Grinch and Martha rolls her eyes. Grinch, okay, Augie boy, that'll be enough. Mayor, oh, of course. I was just caught up thinking about the park. Oh my God. Camera fades away. So we just had like a sensual pest situation happening there. In front of it, hugging overly affectionate to Grinch's wife in front of Grinch while they're having a business meeting about Crumpet Park. Oh, God. This has 2 elements, that and another that are like, this is a thing that kids don't give a fuck about. You know what I mean? We want to preserve the history of Mount Crumpet while making it a fun place for everyone. That's the kind of thing that if I'm a kid, I'm like, yeah, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, listen, as far as I'm concerned, history started, 5 years ago, because that's when I was born. Anything that happened before that, I'm 5. I don't care about it yet. Grinch and Max start their first of many mornings going to work on the park project. Grinch puts on a hard hat and puts a small hard hat on Max. Cute. Max looks into a mirror and smiles and wags his tail. Come on, Max, let's get started. We'll never get anything done if you just want to sit here and admire yourself. Show scenes of Grinch sawing some trees at the base of the mountain that will be in the path of the gondola. Show Grinch sawing the tree and Max on the other end of the saw hanging on for dear life while the saw goes back and forth and Max banging into the side of the tree. Max is starting to see stars. Then everything goes dark for Max. Grinch begins burying Max. I'm just kidding. It ended at sea stars. Grinch in his grumpy voice. Hey, what are you doing over there? This is not a joyride. If you're not going to help, start gathering all those branches over there and move them away. This should be a montage, by the way. a wordless montage rather than the Grinch saying, like, come on, Max. Camera can show Max grabbing some, it doesn't have to, but the camera can show Max grabbing some branches with his mouth and dragging them out of the way. At the base of the mountain, he trims all the branches off of a very large tree, which the end of the gondola cable will be attached to. Well, that sounds safe. The cables will also attach to the top of a second tree about 3/4 of the way down the mountain, one of the last trees before the mountains turn into rocky, rugged, and steep terrain. Next scene, can show Grinch with a welder's helmet welding a large steel pole to a steel base, which he already bolted to the rocks on the side of the mountain. Grinch stops welding and opens his helmet to ask Max for another welding rod. He sees Max standing there with a welder's helmet on. Grinch, what in the world are you doing? Grinch walks over and opens Max's helmet to find Max chewing on a dog biscuit. Wah, wah, wah. Grinch, while looking around, grumpy voice. Where are those welding rods I asked you for? Max pulls his helmet back down. Grinch pulls Max's helmet back open. Grumpy voice and pointing to his right. Max, come on, they're over there in the bottom drawer of that blue toolbox over there. I already told you that. Now get me some and bring them to me. Grinch, Max, you have to keep up with me. We still have 3 more poles to go. I mean, this is a scene that has great potential for comedy, and there's a very funny drawing of Max with a little welding helmet on that I completely approve of in every way. But, you know, the thing is, I think this screenwriter is not relying enough on the visuals to sort of give some of the material here. I think these are funnier as visuals than they are as things that the Grinch keeps explaining. Also, I guess I didn't realize that they were proposing this project, and also the Grinch was going to build the entire thing himself. That seems crazy, right? Oh, well, here we go. Narrator, Grinch is starting to realize how overwhelming this entire project will be. It's definitely much too big to handle himself and may have to employ some tradespeople to help. After all, he and Martha will need help running the park once it's opened anyway. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I was thinking of opening a McDonald's, and then I was like, oh, I can't just build this myself. And it's like, well, I guess I'll have to hire people eventually anyway, so I might as well hire them now. One day while working, Grinch remembered that Gus, who built his own hot air balloon, that Gus Who, as in like, you know, Cindy Lou Who, but then Gus Who, built his own hot air balloon. He could use Gus to build a large hot air balloon with a basket large enough to hold about 6 people or more. Grinch will also use Gus to build about 10 smaller baskets that can hold 2 people each for the gondolas. Once park is open, Gus can have a full-time job giving people rides. Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, Gus built a hot air balloon. You know what he could build for me? A hot air balloon. I kind of assumed the whole hot air balloon thing was because Grinch knew a hot air balloon guy, but I guess this is actually just part of his, you know, insane vision that just kind of happened to work out. Scene, showing Grinch in his cave, sitting in his chair, attempting to call Gus. Looking up Gus's phone number in his phone book. He's fumbling through the pages and finally reaches the beginning of the list of who's. Grinch, while running his finger vertically down the list. Alan Who, Alex Who, Alice Who, Avery Who, Barbie Who. Grinch looks at camera. She makes a great barbecue. Betty Lou, what? Barbie Who, barbecue? Betty Lou Who, Bobby Who, Butch Who. Oh, this is ridiculous. I'll just call the operator. I mean, it's actually not that hard. It's alphabetical, but whatever. Grinch dials 0 to speak to the operator. This is like some real boomer shit. Dial 0 to speak to the operator. 1 ring, 2 rings, 3 rings. Operator answers. Hello, may I be of assist to you? Grinch, can you connect me with someone? Operator, who would you like to speak to? Grinch, yes. How did you know that? Operator, how did I know what? Grinch, who I wanted to speak to. Oh, this has turned into a real who's on first, huh? Operator, I don't know who you want to speak to. You didn't tell me yet, sir. Grinch, grumpy voice. I want to speak to Gus Who. Operator. Oh, God. Please, sir, I don't have time to guess who. I'm very busy here. Please tell me the name of the party you'd like to speak to. Grinch getting angrier. Me too, bro. Party? What party? Why was I not invited? Oh, God. Operator. Sir, there is no party. What I'm asking is, what person would you like to talk to? Grinch. His name is Gus Who. First name is Gus, not Guess. Gus, and his last name is Who. Operator. One moment, please. Grinch, while on hold, looks into the camera. What's the deal with these phone operators? They have to pass a rude test to get the job at the phone company? A rude test? All right, we'll be giving you your rude test as you expected. It's to make sure that you're adequately rude. Oh, God. This is the exact kind of thing that keeps me up at night, wondering if the Grinch 2 is real. Because I'm like, that is so dumb. It almost has to be real, but it almost can't be real. Grinch hears a couple of clicks, and then Gus answers the phone. Gus Who here? Grinch starts to flip out, then looks at the camera. Oh, I am so fed up. Oops, he said Gus Who, not Guess Who. Almost got me there. Jesus fucking Christ. So wait, the operator thought he was saying Guess Who, but then he corrected her to, okay. It's like this script has forgotten who was confused in which way within like half a page. Grinch. Hi, Gus, it's Grinch. I have a proposal for you. I would like to hire you to do some work for us in our new park project on Mount Crumpet. Is that something you might be interested in? Gus. Well, Mr. Grinch, to be honest with you, I'm quite bored at my present job, and I don't make very much. Been doing the same thing for years. Grinch, we had heard you made your... What do you think his current job is? Do you think he's going to say? We had heard you made your own balloon and basket. We're going to need a big hot air balloon with a basket and some smaller baskets for a gondola ride. Gus, well, yes, okay, I can do that. How big of a balloon? Grinch, maybe to hold 6 or 8 people, and the gondolas need to hold 2 people, but I need 10 of them. Gus, wow, that's a pretty big project. I'm not sure if I can handle all that. Grinch, if you show Martha May and Betty Lou how to weave, they can weave all the baskets to your specific the way you want them. You mean specifications? That was Gus. Grinch, yeah, sure, while rolling his eyes, whatever. And once everything is ready, you can work full-time at the park, either giving balloon rides or helping run the ski slope. This is the madness of this script is like, we out of nowhere, we get this joke that it's like, the Grinch doesn't know the word specifications, but he kind of does, but maybe he can't say it? I'm not sure what's going on here. I just know I don't like it. I don't like, 13 pages in, new character traits that are jokes emerging. That doesn't make any sense. Gus, let's get together. Sounds like a plan. Grinch, Gus, one other thing. I'm going to need a lot more help with so many things. While holding the phone to his left ear, he is talking and counting with his right hand. I have a lot more welding to... You can just leave the business to the actors or the animators. You know what I mean? Just be like, well, he's obviously needs some kind of business to do on the phone because what was this going to be up till now? They're just both standing, talking. I have a lot more welding to do, carpentry work, electrical plumbing, while looking into the camera. I know I'm amazing, but I just can't do it all. Gus, I'll start asking around. I'm sure we can come up with some help for you. Come on down and we'll figure this out. Grinch hangs up his phone and camera fades away. Camera can show. Different stages of the baskets being built by Gus while training Martha May and Betty Lou. Also scenes of new larger hot air balloon basket being built which will fit 6 people. Yeah, okay. Show scenes of Gus working on gas heater and Martha and Betty sewing the large fabric panels together to make up the balloon. This is nuts. Miscellaneous additional scenes of construction. Show Max and Grinch and about a dozen or so workers finishing the poles with crossbars and cables which will support the gondola system. Some things are so described. He's talking on the phone, it's describing him counting on his fingers, but then it's just like, There's like a dozen-ish workers, quote, finishing the poles. You know what I mean? It's like, what does that mean? Scenes of workers hanging the gondola baskets, painting the steel structures supporting the gondolas, and also painting the old trash chute, giving it a clean, fun look. Nothing like a fun trash chute. Trash chute. Scenes with Martha and Grinch hanging on to a rope tied at the top of the trash chute while they are scrubbing and cleaning it all the way to the bottom. Martha constantly complaining of the smell. A scene with Max sitting on a big sponge and riding it down the chute, of course with a big smile. See, now that's cute. He's occasionally got like a little cute thing. And you're like, that's a good idea. That makes sense. Scenes of final preparations before park is opened. Show park entrance with admission booth, sign above entrance with Mount Crumpet Park, show gondolas going back and forth from the top to the bottom, and the balloon ride which goes back and forth to the top also. 2 food stands, one at the bottom and one at the top. Opening day comes and everybody is there. Mayor Augustus Mayhew has a speech prepared and steps in front of the microphone as he always manages to do. Mayor Mayhew with Grinch, Martha, Betty Lou, and Gus standing to his left. Hubris and Officer Houlihan, W-H-O, Houlihan. I like Houlihan, but I don't know about hubris. Hubris and Houlihan. Okay, the park is about to open. We're on page 14 of 94. I don't understand. It seems like we're so far along in this tale. Mayor, I want to thank everyone for coming today to this wonderful occasion. Coming to this occasion. Okay. It took a lot of work to get to this point. When I first came up with this idea, Grinch pokes the mayor in the back. As I was saying, when I suggested this idea, Grinch pokes him in the back a little harder. When the Grinch came up with this idea, I immediately approved of it. The people in the audience clapped and cheered. Not only was this a great way to use that useless mountain's resources, but it created jobs, tax revenue for the village, it's open today, and lots of fun for kiddos and adults alike. I couldn't have done it without. Grinch pokes him in the back a third time. Mayor clears his throat. Okay, let me turn the mic over to Grinch. The crowd cheered so loudly, I guess in past tense, you couldn't hear yourself think. They were clapping and whistling. The little ones were jumping up and down with excitement. The camera pans back over to the mayor. He is rather frustrated over the cheering for the Grinch. I mean, I would be a little pissed if I was the mayor, even if I wasn't like the best mayor in the world. I'd be like, did we all forget that this asshole tried to destroy the holiday of Christmas? Which, you know, is like definitely our thing around here. I mean, maybe you didn't like, you know, that I had to increase the water tax like 0.5%, but I didn't try to rob you of joy. You know what I'm saying? The Grinch takes the mic from the mayor, but he can't begin to talk because the crowd is cheering so loudly. Grinch, thank you, over the loud cheering still. Please, thank you. Grinch puts his finger to his mouth to gesture to be quiet. Please, we've got to get this park open so you folks can have some fun. Crowd starts to silence. I feel like there was a joke that should have happened there. Like, you know, Grinch gets all pissed and like flames erupt behind him and everyone's like, oh yeah, he's still a monster. Thank you, everyone. Special thanks to my sweetheart, Martha May, Gus Who, Betty Lou, and the professor? Fuck's the professor? And don't forget my little buddy, Max. Also, a special thanks to all those extra people that came on board during this whole process. Like a ribbon cutting at a new library. What is this bullshit? And to the people who are here today running in the park. As a special surprise, everything today is free. Free food and drink for all. In an extremely deepened voice, he says, for everyone's safety, no alcohol may be purchased or consumed at this park. What? That's a kid movie thing? Hey, everyone can't get drunk. Or is someone gonna get drunk? Is that what's gonna happen? Is this like, is this Chekhov's bottle of booze we see here? You know, you never know. Like when you're reading, it's always interesting reading things that are incompetent. Like, you know, I would read an Agent Coldbeer book by Charles Hinton. And you never know. You're like, is he laying something in badly? And that's why this seems out of place. And so it'll come up again later and I'll be like, oh, I guess that's why he said that. Or is it just never going to come up again? And it's like, there will be no explanation to anyone's satisfaction of why the fuck that was in here. Grinch puts his left hand to his mouth and lets out an ear-piercing whistle. The gates open as Grinch then raises his arms in the air. Let the fun begin. A huge, page break. Oh, I see. There's a giant drawing of Mount Crumpet. Oh, it looks nice. Camera, pan over crowds getting on the gondolas and in line for a hot air balloon, and the food and drink stands are filling up quickly. I mean, how long does it take to take a hot air balloon to the top of a mountain? Also, can you really, go in a hot air balloon to the top of the mountain? Or do you sort of get in a hot air balloon and then it goes to where it's going? You know what I'm saying? Narrator. As you can see, the park is a complete success. The Who's of Whoville are so happy with the additional entertainment the park provides for the entire family. Grinch and Martha become quite the celebrities in the village, which we know doesn't go over too well with the mayor. When the snow starts to fall and the ski slopes will open and the ski lifts will be filled with skiers. Great. Narrator. Grinch and Martha May decide they want to get married in the fall. Are we just done with the mountain? Invitations go out to all the Who's in Whoville. Camera can show the hundreds of Who's opening their invitations and cheering with joy. Yeah, fucking right. Camera shows the mayor opening his invitation and reading the announcement and zoom in on his face looking terribly disgusted. The villagers are so excited and can't wait for the big day. It's going to be the largest wedding celebration in the history of the village. With everyone being so busy with the park, the big day arrives in a flash. We're already at the wedding, huh? I feel like this is how people feel their wedding invitations are received. You know what I mean? Oh, awesome. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm a curmudgeon. I don't really see wedding. I'm happy for people that they're happy. You know what I mean? But if you're like, Christ. I mean, again, am I happy for a Grinch that he's happy? Maybe, moderately. But I feel like I'd be the only one. You know, it'd be like if everybody was excited about going to a Chris Brown concert. I'm like, he punched Rihanna, didn't he? Right? Are we just not mad about that anymore? I don't know. Camera shows hundreds of people sitting in an outside pavilion type setup. You could just say in an outside pavilion. You don't have to say type setup. Head table in the front. Justice of the Peace standing in the center in front of the table. Wedding music begins with some sort of Who-style twist to it. What would a Whoville wedding march? Who, some shit like that. A crowd rises to their feet. The Grinch enters from the right wearing a tuxedo and looks quite charming. I don't believe that. And he's probably not wearing pants, right? And he stops alongside the Justice and is followed by his best man, Gus Who. How is Max not his best? Oh, okay. The maid of honor, Betty Lou Who, comes down the center aisle. Max, the ring bearer, comes next holding a small basket in his mouth with the 2 wedding bands in it. I got it. Cindy Lou, who is the flower girl, follows, dropping rose petals on her way. They all line up on the left side of the JOP. What? Oh, Justice of the Peace? Why? Whatever. Wedding music volume increases and Martha May comes down the center aisle with her long flowing wedding gown with a long train which still is at the beginning of the aisle. Martha stops in front of the JOP. Betty gathers up the train, which she keeps pulling and pulling and pulling. Finally, she comes to the end and places it behind Martha. Grinch and Martha turn to each other and hold each other's hands. That's a cute little gag. Like sort of the reverse clown scarves in the sleeve thing. Grinch whispers, "You are stunning." Martha whispers back, "And you are quite handsome yourself, young fellow." Grinch, "By the way, why are we dressed so nice?" "Oh, that's right, we're getting married today." Camera shows Martha shaking her head lightly. Grinch has a smirk as everyone breaks out in laughter, including the Justice of the Peace. What the fuck? That was like a joke? Was that a joke, or is he being serious? I don't understand if this is the Grinch being balky and being confused about the custom, or if he genuinely just forgot. Justice of the peace, please be seated. Thank you. Friends, family, and fellow Who's, we come together today as you are asked to witness the joining of Grinch and Martha in marriage. We gather them now around them now in Whoville, and we look on with love and hope as these two begin their new life together as one. Camera shows Max stand on his back legs with ring basket in his mouth alongside Grinch. Grinch, in a whisper, Max, no, not now. Max gets back down on all four. That's it. That's the joke. Marriage is a sacred institution in our culture. It's a tradition of partnership, of trust, and of dependence on each other to navigate the sometimes stormy seas of life. Camera pans to Grinch, who says, while spinning his right index finger in a motion as to indicate, let's move it along, blah, blah, blah. Justice of the peace. If anyone present objects to these two being united in marriage, speak now or forever hold your peace. Camera shows the mayor starts to raise his hand, but is stopped by Officer Houlihan. Shut the fuck up. I didn't have a wedding like this. It was just me and my wife and our parents. But if I did have like that big kind of wedding, I've heard, because I've been to some weddings, and I don't think anyone at the weddings I was at said like if anyone objects to this. And I've heard that that's not really a thing they do at weddings anymore. But I would definitely like to hire someone to be like, yes, I object to this on a moral ground or something. You know what I mean? I don't know why people don't do it anymore, though. Like, what are they afraid of? Who do they think is going to show up and be like, yes, this is my time. But also, like, what a crazy custom. If anyone has any objections to this, say it now. And it's like, oh, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, well, if you had objections to it, you know when would have been a better time to tell us about that? Really any other time, right? Would be a superior time to have told us that you have objections, as opposed to waiting until right now, moments before we're going to get married. Justice. At this time, Grinch and Martha will exchange rings. The wedding ring is a symbol of love, devotion, and never-ending commitment between two people. Camera on Max, who stands on back legs again alongside Grinch, and once again Grinch whispers, no, Max, not yet. I mean, it's pretty close, right? He's talking about the rings. He's a goddamn dog. I think he's doing a pretty good job. Justice. Grinch, do you take Martha May to be your lawfully wedded wife? Will you honor and cherish her, love, trust, and commit to her through joy and pain, sickness and health, until death do you part? Grinch takes Martha's hand and says, I do. Justice of the peace, the ring? Grinch, now, Max, now. Max, while guests are laughing, stands up alongside the Grinch with basket. Grinch reaches in and takes out Martha's ring and slides it onto Martha's finger and says, I do. I don't get this. This was like a joke because he was like ready to go early. And then he's like, not yet, not yet. And then he's like, okay, now. And that's like, I don't get it. Martha, do you take Grinch to be your lawfully wedded husband, etc.? Max stands near Martha, and Martha takes the ring from the basket and slides it onto the Grinch's finger and says, I do. Justice, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Camera shows a close-up of Grinch with a wide smile and tears of joy in his eyes as he leans forward and gives Martha a kiss. I'm picturing it and it seems monstrous. You know what I mean? Like a giant smile and tears of joy. I don't know. It just seems frightening. It seems like when the Grinch cried, like the tears would smell or something, like they'd smell like armpit or something. Martha gently wipes the tears from his eyes. Grinch leans forward again and gives her a long, passionate kiss. Yeah, great. They turn as the guests are clapping and cheering and walk down the aisles hand in hand as the wedding party follows. Camera fades away and fades into reception dinner. Why are we showing me all this stuff that I don't care about? Like, this has just been one long scene that I'm like, you know what kids don't care about? Like, do they give one rip about like, oh, I hope it's a nice wedding? Camera showing scenes in a large hall, head table up front with the newly married couple, and on each side, members of the wedding party. Even Max is at a table enjoying himself and the treats on his plate. Hundreds of tables filled with the invited guests, people dancing, banging their glasses with their silverware to coax the couple to kiss, people eating and drinking, laughing. Grinch and Martha having their first dance, slow dance. Mayor comes up and taps on Grinch's shoulder. I hate that thing of tapping their glasses to make the couple kiss. I would never do that. I'd be like, fuck you. I bought you a dinner. No. You know what I mean? I'm not at your command. I would really hate that. Narrator. Martha had spent a lot of time teaching Grinch how to dance. Fast dances, slow dances. The narrator tells us this, but we could have showed this. Where was the montage of Grinch getting ready for the wedding? You know what I mean? Intercut that in with him doing the construction. And it's like, oh yeah, he's doing like chopping down a tree and then he's, I don't know, sampling cakes or something. And he's eating one out of the trash. She warned him of all the traditions that can occur during the reception. She even warned him of men wanting to dance with the bride and how they would come up and tap your shoulder and it's a tradition and that it's okay for you to let them cut in. Does that happen at weddings? People dance with the bride? Who does that? That's fucking weird. That can't be real, is it? I mean, like, of all the times to not dance with your girlfriend/wife, I feel like moments after you got married is the time to be like, I could dance with her some other time. Like if I'm just some fucking goofball friend who's there and I'm like, I'm gonna dance with your wife now. What kind of tradition is that? Almost as creepy as the daddy-daughter dance, which is the worst tradition. Camera shows Grinch steps aside, the mayor takes Martha's hand, and the two of them start their slow dance. Grinch is standing alongside the two of them with his arms folded. He looks at his watch to see how long it's been. Mayor is smiling ear to ear, and Martha looks confused as she doesn't know how to put a stop to it. When the song ends, you're done. Grinch looks over at the clock on the wall, show the hands in fast motion, clicking a few minutes, and he decides that's enough. Grinch. Okay, Augie boy, that'll be enough. This day is our day, not yours. Mayor, but I just got here. Grinch gently pulls the mayor away from Martha and slaps him in the face. Just pulled him away. And now you're done. Time's up. Grinch begins to dance with Martha, and this is like the beginning of a bar brawl in a Western. And you had your minute. Now it's time to give it up. Grinch begins to dance with Martha, and the slow song ends. They start to walk off the dance floor when a fast song starts that they both like. What would be the kind of song that would be in this movie? I get knocked down, but I get up again. They start to, and they turn back to the dance floor. They start skanking, and the crowd is cheering at how fantastic they're doing together, never expecting the Grinch to be such a good dancer. God. Camera can continue showing more dances, more fellows tapping the Grinch's shoulder, dancing with Martha as narrator kicks it. Everybody wants to dance with Martha. Narrator. By far the biggest gathering of people to celebrate a wedding. Grinch and Martha May are having the time of their lives, but now we'll be moving on to the next chapter of their lives. The business is booming, they're a happy couple, and Grinch definitely feels welcome as one of the citizens of Whoville. It's time to start looking for what that new home they had talked about. A house that will be a little larger if they decide to start a family, and maybe a little closer to Crumpet Park. Okay. I mean, this is so weird because it's like, yeah, it feels like we've got a pretty complete story here. You know what I mean? It feels like, kind of feels like we did it. I mean, could that not be the end of the Grinch? But this is like 20% of what happens? How can that be? Like they buy a house. I assume they're going to have like a Grinch baby. But like, where is this going? You know what I mean? Like how much more story is there for this? How much more could there be? I'm seeing what looks like a bunch of Grinches in a very frightening looking sort of human flesh Grinch. Now they look like they're, I'm just looking at the images. It looks like they're in space. Is this supposed to be Martha May? Who is that? There's a lot more to go, I guess. But I don't know. There's a really stupid picture of Max with an owl sitting on his back. All right. Well, there you go. That's our second run at the Grinch. Hopefully next time we can get through a little more, because at this rate, it's going to take me like 3 months to get through this goddamn script. Fuck you, Uncle Bob. How could you do this to me? Why did it Uncle Bob doesn't need to be this long, okay? And you could just just have scenes instead of a narrator saying and then show this, I guess. Show some kind of this. It's like, well, all right. We'll see you next time.
Somebody should talk about two times.